Welcome, fellow travelers. Today we're in Victoria, BC to see the greatest little show on earth, Miniature World. Let's go and explore. Miniature World is enjoying its 50th anniversary this year. Tucked inside the Fairmont Empress, it opened its doors in 1971 and has continued to be one of Victoria's most popular tourist attractions. The attraction has 85 different dioramas grouped by theme, including historical scenes, ones related to the Canadian Pacific Railway, Frontierland, Fantasyland. It even got an upgrade in 2014 when it expanded by another 1,000 square feet with dioramas that tell the story of Camelot. Let's take a look. Here's the American War of Independence, which raged from 1775 to 1783. This specifically is the Battle of Saratoga, October 6th, 1777. It says this shows the Redcoats attacking the rebel artillery. This scene is of Western France, August 1918. Some of the little details in the miniatures, like a crackling fire. This one shows Germany in 1945. It says by spring of 1945, the European war was concentrated in Germany itself, and a lot of towns were in ruin, just like this one. And that tank didn't make it down there. Look at the hundreds of miniatures in here, detailing the American Civil War. 1865, 4 years after the conflict began. Everyone's different and unique. Can't even imagine how long it would have taken to put this together. Let's head into the next section, see the Great Canadian Railway. This section shows the construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway, which occurred in the 1880s. This section down here represents Gastown, named after Gassy Jack Dayton. Here's a recreation of the town of Yale from 1885. And here's the last spike being driven.
The Big Hill, a notorious section of steep grade between Hector and Field, BC, was proving too costly. It lost trains and lives.
And here's Cowtown, Calgary, 1885. Here's the sun rising over Regina, 1885. Looks like we're going to head east across Canada. Looks like the sun setting over Toronto, 1915. Oh, it's playing at the theater. Laurel and Hardy and Leave 'Em Laughing. And finally, we've made it all the way to the Maritimes. And a lighthouse overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. Next area, let's head into Frontierland. And here's a historic moment. This is when Sitting Bull met with the superintendent and guides from the Northwest Mounted Police. Now we're talking. Right down here I found Fort Whoop-Up with a whiskey trader and his pack mules arriving at the fort. Here's the fictional Pioneerville, which is a composite of many pioneer towns of the day. Looks like we've got a brawl happening out in the street. Stagecoaches arriving at the BC Express Company. A schoolhouse in the background. A cattle drive and a church. This is a typical town around the year 1870. This diorama has First Nations longhouses and totem poles. Looks like the First Nations are interacting with some explorers. And here's the dawn of a new era. This exhibit celebrates the arrival of the horseless carriage. Cars driving around the roundabout. Next up, we're heading into Fantasyland.
You actually get to see just what she did with all those children.
There's Jack and Jill.
A lot of an Englishman. Elon beat it. I'll find his bones to make my bread.
Let's take a peek into Santa's workshop. Right down there, Rudolph and his red nose. Oh, and back there, all of the other reindeer. Here's a scene from Gulliver's Travels, when Gulliver is tied down by the miniature Lilliputans.
I suggest you spend a while looking over this magnificent diorama.
This is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There's Snow White tending the house, and the dwarfs headed into the diamond mine.
These are her own costume. It's the finest example of the miniature craftsman.
It says, "Diamond mine, keep out, go back." Hey, that dwarf has a turtle with a light on it. That's an innovative way to light the mine. Over here are the dwarfs inside the diamond mine. By the looks of it, it's a pretty lucrative mine. The whole thing is diamonds. There's those turtles again. Those are handy workers. This giant scene is Titania's Palace from A Midsummer's Night Dream. There's tons of little details in here. Here's a Swiss Family Robinson treehouse. Lots of jungle noises. A scene from the classic novel, Oliver Twist. What's interesting is the size of the models changes from scene to scene. Sometimes the people inside are quite tiny. Sometimes they're 4 or 5 inches big. Out of Fantasyland, and now we're going to check out Old London Town. Got the trolleys. Back there you can see the traffic moving through the town. Some of the English buildings, the Parliament, and double-decker buses. Into the Great Circus. There's the big top. Everyone's lining up to get inside. Hey, here's an old-fashioned sideshow. I like the old-fashioned posters, sideshow posters, luring people inside. Some of these are actually real sideshow. There's Chang and Eng, Mandrake. Here's the Midway with a number of rides. There's the octopus down there. Tilt-a-whirl.
The Tilt-A-Whirl
Miniature bumper cars.
a few of the rides that make up the Midway Reno today. And seeing
They're actually doing a pretty good job at avoiding each other.
truly exciting. Grab some content. Try your aim or head out of your hand on the Tilt-A-Whirl. That's what the Midway is all about. West Show.
And over here, the Rodeo and Wild West show.
Or Buffalo Bill's Wild West Show, which ran from 1883 to 1912.
A recreation of the Sword in the Stone. He got it. And here's a recreation of King Arthur's famous sword, the Excalibur. Here's a scene of the famous Knights of the Round Table. Ooh, exciting. Let's get ready for a joust. Miss. And here's a giant scene of the Kingdom of Camelot.
There is a storm gathering as we speak that will surely destroy all of those around us. No one.
His father, King
I didn't think we'd find it, but here it is.
the table
The
was
Holy
passed by
Grail.
the Prince of Camelot. Thru's long-standing, and upon her marriage,
You
the
have chosen
table became his.
wisely.
Situated in the highest point of the castle, were invited to sit here. Had to exemplify courage and fairness. Be champions in the art of combat.
Thanks for joining us today to explore Miniature World. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And stay tuned because we'll be off on another adventure soon. Until next time, it's time to exit through the gift shop.